Today on the Topic Show, Disney Snow White actress Rachel Zegler, well, she hopes that Trump and his supporters are harmed. Trump and Biden both meet, and Biden has never been smiling so much. Illinois Governor JB Pritzker says that he will not help deporting illegals, and Trump's new border head responds. Spotify Q3 earnings are in and looking good, and Kum Go convenience chains, well, the stores are being rebranded after the sale. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with an adapter to attach to a standard Picatinny rail on an AR-15, as all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or check out the body description of the episode. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you know, Spotify Q3 earnings are in and looking pretty darn good with their stock going to the moon. Granted, hindsight is always 20/20 when it comes to investing, so not investment advice, but let's look at their stock price first. Now currently trading for, geez Louise, $467.37 per share. 5-year trend is up 216%. That is to the moon. Now, if we actually go, let's zoom in a little bit. 1 year, it's up still 173%. Year to date, up 147.55%. They're killing it. 6 months, nearly more than doubled, going up 61.32%. Past month, Cha-ching went up by 25.47%, which, geez Louise, that is pretty good. And last week went up by about 17.48%, granted the big jump because of the earnings. Now, going to specific earnings, we're going straight to the horse's mouth, so to say, to Spotify's website, where they report their third quarter earnings here. Now, specifically, a little disappointed. How did they not have a giant logo at the top of the page is beyond me in terms of the main graphic. Now, they say, quote, "We announced our third quarter 2024 earnings, where we outperformed across key metrics, moving one step closer to a full year profitability. Take a look at the highlights below." I was going to say, well, there's some cool infographics there. So the monthly active users grew 11% year over year to 640 million users. That's quite a few. And friendly reminder, the show is on Spotify. I was about to say we have a 5-star rating. We definitely don't. Someday we'll get a 5-star rating. If you check us out on the Spotify, go ahead and give us a rating in the App Store. Let the world know how we're doing. Or if it's a 1-star, just, write something in the YouTube or Rumble comments and let me know what we can do better. Now, the subscribers, which I'm pretty impressed, increased 12% year over year to 252 million, which, yeah, no one needs Spotify Premium. I'm pretty frugal myself. I don't mind listening to a couple of advertisements and pop-ups on the Spotify. I'm still astonished people have disposable income to the point where they can just buy that, but I partially digress. The total revenue was up nearly 20%, right at 19% to billion. Was that funny? Is that euro? It's a funny looking symbol. Pretty sure it is. Now the gross margin also increased by 31.1%, which is pretty good because, again, one of the issues with a lot of streaming platforms, a majority of the money doesn't even go to the artist or the actual performer. It goes to whoever owns the intellectual property, like the record label, or really the trifecta. You have Sony, which owns a lot of catalogs throughout the years. Most famously, Michael Jackson's portfolio. I think they spent about $740 million to get half of Michael Jackson's portfolio. You also have Time Warner, which is still out there. And I believe the third one escapes me at the moment. There's kind of a trifecta of companies that own the rights to the most famous songs of all time. And again, they get the lion's share of the revenue. Now, the CEO, Daniel Ek, also says, quote, "We've never been in a stronger position thanks to an outstanding execution of our team. I'm incredibly proud of the way we've delivered the progress that we've made." It's an awkwardly phrased, but he said it. We're where? I guess it's grammatically correct, but awkward as all hell. And that's coming from me. So I reiterate, he says, quote, "We're where we set out to be, if not a little further, and on a steady path forward, achieving our long-term goals. This relentless pursuit of innovation and commitment towards growth sets up to deliver the most valuable user experience in the industry while reinforcing the core strengths that make Spotify unique. I'm very excited about what lies ahead for us." Which, I was gonna say they're bragging about having a growing day list now available to free and premium users, which I didn't even know that was a thing. And I got a couple interesting things. You got a new AI DJ in Spanish called Livy. In fact, it's not called Jorge or something like that. It's just terrible marketing. I mean, I'm Hispanic. I would find that hilarious. You're gonna have more audiobooks on there, including access to up to more 200,000 more titles. So pretty good to Spotify to be growing this much. I mean, I can't help but think, kind of like the S&P 500 being propped up by Nvidia. I can't help but think Spotify is basically propped up by Joe Rogan because that's really what they've become known for. Partially because they got the exclusivity contract last year. Well, now it's where they have exclusive rights to the advertising, but they actually have Joe Rogan on many platforms now. But again, Spotify is the one that actually does the advertising for Joe, and they give him a cut. So, I mean, I still think Spotify is known for that. Truth be told, I only downloaded Spotify. I should say to listen to the topping show, but I'm not that narcissistic. Though I do review the show from time to time to, see where I can improve. But in all reality, I downloaded Spotify only because Joe Rogan was only on that platform. I didn't pay for the premium, but again, they're making some ad dollars off my usage of the platform. But to me, that's still the number one thing. They've spent a lot of money on exclusive deals with other creators. I don't think any of them actually made them a profit. Most famously, they got deals with the Obamas, as well as, what's that terrible actress from Suits everyone hates? She's as insufferable in the show as she is in the real world. Meghan Merkel, whatever her name is, though. They apparently had some exclusive content with them, but again, I don't think enough people tune in to actually make a profit. But again, pretty good for Spotify. It'll be interesting to see if their most predominant, podcast platform. I still can't believe Google got rid of their podcast platform or their legacy one, which that used to be one of the ones that I used back when I would, for my podcast needs, but they've, killed that. But let me know. I mean, do you even use Spotify? Are you listening to this on Spotify right now? And what do you think makes them unique? And do you think they'll keep this a really impressive growth trajectory? Let me know in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the cultural part of the podcast, you have Disney star of Snow White, Rachel Zegler, hopes that Trump supporters and Trump himself are harmed, which, in terms of accolades, she is perhaps best known for being insufferable. Like, she is the best at that. I mean, most famously, she's the star of the new Snow White remake, and she completely spat on the original intellectual property, hating the whole premise of the story, and she called the whole idea, and again, I can't say it as terribly as she did in terms of vernacular or accent, but I'll attempt when she said, well, it's weird, and she had that weird, she said the word weird while bobbing her head in the weirdest of fashions. I barely scraped the surface while attempting that impression of her. But let's go ahead and see what specifically she has to say. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on the good old X, or as 5 people probably still call it, Twitter, or if you're British, Twitter, partially digress, where he says, quote, Disney Snow White Rachel Zegler says she hopes to harm befalls Trump and his his voters. Which, another hilarious premise of the new Snow White remake, which was so bad I don't think they even released it yet. It's all about, the story is about her being jealous, or the stepmother being jealous of her looks, and in the remake, spoiler alert, the queen or the evil stepmom is infinitely more attractive than her. Yes, I know the bar's quite low with Rachel Zegler, but still, kind of puts a whole kibosh on the whole idea of the story, but I partially digress. And, I'm sorry, I accidentally made the picture of her larger, so it's taking up a large part of the screen. Oh, yeah. That's, it's not a pretty sight, it is a sight. And, I apologize. I should put a visual disclaimer on the screen before I showed her face. I apologize, that was my mistake. But we'll go ahead and we don't want to see that. We'll go to the text, which unfortunately is too small actually for you to see on your screen. But I'll go and I'll read her post. This was on her, what is this? This is on the Facebook, their Instagram, one of the social media websites where, let's see. She says, quote, I find myself speechless, which, I mean, that would be really great if she was actually speechless because she's so insufferable. I don't think anyone really wants to hear what she has to say. But, partially digress, she claims to be speechless. So she says, quote, I find myself speechless in the midst of all this. Another 4 years of hatred leading us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. Leading us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Leading us towards a world that is fearful. Again, shows how mentally vacuous leftists are. Again, if you want to have abortion up to the day of, they have it. It's called Minnesota and other states. For the umpteenth time, it's a states' rights issue. And yet they lied about the the recent presidential election, saying you gotta go out and vote because your ability to do that depends on it. Nope, it's a states' rights issue. So depending on where she lives, that's a really weird thing to wish your daughter. But yeah, you want that to happen. Yeah, depending on where you live, that's perfectly conceivable. And culturally speaking, in California and Minnesota, perfectly acceptable, if not applauded. Where I find it viscerally disgusting, there are people who actually go online and brag about their abortions, which also shows the cultural decline in the United States. It used to be the Democrats and leftists said, it's supposed to be safe, legal, and rare. Everyone agreed it was a bad thing, and yet now it's something they actually give accolades to. They actually have an abortion mobile outside the Democratic convention a couple months ago. I partially digress. We'll get back to her attempting to speak. Well, not logically, but her speech nevertheless. She continued saying, quote, "I shouldn't have been this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friend who woke fear this morning, and I'm here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging our new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. But it was!" And in terms of the ineptitudes of Democrats, they didn't let the Democrat people vote for someone. They didn't actually have a convention. They actually just shoved in, they really just usurped what the people wanted. I had friends who wanted to vote for Biden, and yet they just wheeled him out and put Kamala in. And yes, she lost every single swing state, which is actually impressive from a ineptitudes perspective. To be that bad at your job is almost, it's a kind of impressive thing. Fascinatingly enough, of the states that she won, most of the 13 of the 15 did not require any form of ID. Sure, that's a coincidence though. I'm sorry, I know Rachel Zegler is insufferable, even just through text, but it's almost done. She ends saying, quote, I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. Many Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace. More from the tolerant left. Not so much, but and wokeness, it did go pretty viral. It got 757,000 views, as well as 13,000 likes. And I'm sorry, we see her face again. Ooh, yeah, it's a sight, which again is also hilarious. The whole point of Snow White was she was the attractive one, and they also just throw out the whole premise of the story, I suppose. But it also got 13,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Sassafras84 saying, quote, she was the hatred she speaks of, getting 937 likes. AKA simply says, "What a lunatic," getting 1.2 thousand likes. Fact check true. What is this? Liz Churchill says LOL and says Rachel Zegler, I don't know what her pronouns. She says she, her, and then she has another one. Gotta collect them all, like Pokemon. I know it's Pokemon, but it's kind of funny. That's what my dad used to call it. And it looks like Rachel Zegler blocked her on social media, which, yeah, that's a sure sign of you can't defend your ideals, just block or disable comments. Which, again, many comments on my videos aren't complimentary, though they are constructive criticism, so appreciate them nevertheless. But yeah, I'll never disable my comments. Ironically, one of the few times my YouTube comments were disabled was when YouTube overrode me when I had a video talking about censorship and one talking about Bud Light censoring comments on social media. So it's interestingly ironic that they overrode my preferences and my settings, but I partially digress. You also have Will, Bill, and C saying, quote, this miserable, well, cover your ears if you have children listening, but his exact vernacular is, quote, this miserable bitch is a perfect example of why the left lost in a landslide, getting 3.6 thousand likes, which, yeah, fact check true. I forget what cartoon this is, but Fight with Memes, A+, they did in fact respond in a meme form, says okay, and it's the picture of a kid that holds a piece of paper, and the piece of paper is relabeled Hollywood Opinions, says, whoa, and he looks up and goes, this is worthless. Got 2.1 thousand likes, which culturally speaking, yeah, I think celebrities are losing their shine and people are taking them less and less seriously, and yeah, I think celebrity endorsements are losing their efficiencies, both on the left and the right, but especially the traditional legacy Hollywood media on the left. You also have Liberty Pill Memes, A+, they did in fact respond in meme form. I'm a May, if you want to sound fancy, say, quote, describe Disney in a couple of words. There's a very attractive woman called Star Wars, and on the right is Dylan Mulvaney, dressed as a woman, says Disney Star Wars, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Yep, Kathleen Kennedy somehow still has a job, which also highlights the ineptitude of Disney, which her whole methodology with South Park perfectly, nail on hammer, hit it perfectly, is put a chick in it and make it gay, which, again, that seems to be the methodology for most Disney films. Perhaps why they're losing billions of dollars, yet they still forge ahead doing the same methodology. almost as if they don't know the definition of insanity. Going down to other top comments, you have Fight with Memes says she's replaceable, and there's a poll. It says, who should play Snow White? And the options were Gal Gadot, Anne d'Arm, Rachel Zegler, and Terry Crews. And 93% of the votes said Terry Crews, 1% Rachel, 2% Anna d'Arm, which I don't know if this is false advertising. I'm pretty sure she has arms, so good marketing. Then Gal Gadot got 3%. The whole meme got 1,000 likes. The Repill Memes also says, I have the perfect shirt for her. And someone has a shirt that says Disney Star Wars, and someone is talking to him saying, quote, I like your gay pride shirt. Getting 542 likes, which, yeah, they also not only encourage a man to dress as a woman and selling dresses and measuring dresses for young girls at Disneyland, or is it Disney World? Probably the one in California. As if we needed another reason not to go to one of their theme parks and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, wouldn't go there. Couldn't pay me to go there. Elon Musk says she sounds mean, getting 3.2 thousand likes. Is it really Elon? It is. There you go. Is there any contrarian statements here? Not seeing too many. And again, apparently, like, they had private viewings of, because again, they finished the movie. They haven't released it. They got a lot of pushback from, they were going to have, midgets or little people or dwarves, like the traditional one, which is good for those people because, again, it's a great acting opportunity. Again, a Disney film, that little POS Peter Dinklage, best known for being short and insufferable. Well, he goes, oh yeah, it shouldn't be for little people. You should have all different types. It's stereotypical if you have them do it, even though he built his career on it. So yet another example of Hollywood elitism, building his career and then pulling up the small ladder behind him, the very small ladder behind him. And again, when it comes to Disney, they actually recast it so there's a diverse group of people playing the dwarves instead of actual dwarves. And the online uproar was so bad, the pushback was so massive, it caused yet another delay of the movie. I really don't think they'll make a profit on the movie if they ever do release it. Again, they keep having to make changes, and the main actress doesn't even like the idea or concept of the film, and she is so bad at PR. Every time she gets in front of the camera, she craps on the original intellectual property, which built Disney into what they are today, and laid the foundation. And she just really just hates the whole. She hates the intellectual property of the original idea, and as well as the original idea of having she says a man coming to save her. So let me know in the comments. Do you think Disney will ever release this film? And do you think will they ever actually make a profit on it? I have no idea how Rachel Zegler still has a job is beyond me. But let me know in the comments because, as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political podcast, you have Illinois Governor JB Pritzker says that he will not deport illegals or cooperate in the raids. Because, of course, why would you want to clean up Chicago? They've been doing great. Like the Chicago Bears. Haha, sports joke. Spoiler alert, they have not been great, or they have not won for decades. Very similar to the business and culture of Chicago. There's a reason. Let me know in the comments. Can you name one business that has moved to Chicago in the past decade? I really should bring props to the show so I can actually have a pin drop. I'm not sure if you could hear it. It's a moderately good microphone. Yeah, just let that pin drop because, spoiler alert, no. And McDonald's doesn't count. They lived in a suburb, and for some ridiculous reason, they actually moved from Oak Brook to Chicago. That's just down the street. That doesn't count. Also a great way to endanger your employees, or maybe that's a good way to actually have employees quit so you don't have to pay them severance packages. Instead of going from one of the richest suburbs of Chicago, you have to go to Chicago for work now. I can't imagine a lot of employees appreciated that in McDonald's, but I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, which she says, quote, breaking Governor of Illinois, or let's call it Illinois to insult them or kind of backhanded. Spoiler alert, if you're actually from the Midwest, they pronounce it Illinois, but if you're not, most people call it Illinois. Though it is mostly noise and nonsense, so perhaps that is appropriate. I partially digress. She says, quote, breaking Governor of Illinois says local law enforcement will not cooperate with raids and deportations of illegals in his state. I'm actually fascinated. He does have an American flag behind him, very unusual, given his political ideologies. But here's a JB Pritzker, which we'll give it a couple days till he's elected for arrested for corruption. Fascinatingly enough, that's a pretty popular track record or career path when you are a political leader in Illinois. Let's see. I'll give him one credit. He did suit up. He did one thing right. Pretty good. It's a nice suit. He did one thing right.
But we also want to make sure that there isn't a violation of people's rights with, raids, for example, that are done in coordination with local law enforcement on people who are, frankly, holding down jobs and have been in this country for many, many years. We think that's improper. And in Illinois, that's not something that we would condone. There's been some talk about using other states' National Guard, red state National Guards to somehow come into a blue state and try and enforce these new Stephen Miller inspired rules. And that's just not something we're going to accept. But I want.
We're just not going to accept, obeying the law. And fascinatingly enough, the people of Chicago are starting to turn against that, partially because the handouts they used to get are going to the illegals that are there now. So maybe they'll vote differently? No, probably not. It's been almost 100 years of ineptitude leadership over there. I doubt they'll fix it. Again, click that subscribe button. I appreciate all the feedback. I'm trying to slow down my rate of speech. And I have a theory. When I first started the show, basically no subscribers. Well, a couple family members. And I spoke terribly. Spoke even faster back then and stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to walk upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, my speaking has improved. Yes, the bar was quite low, some might argue just a modicum of improvement, but statistically speaking, an improvement nevertheless. So if you can go ahead and click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Maybe get through an entire episode speaking perfectly. Shoot, send this over to your friends and your enemies. Maybe your enemies will like the material so much they become your friends, or perhaps they hate the material so much that you simply anger them, almost akin to poking the bear, and you get more conflict, so perhaps not recommended. Though these might make for an interesting story. So you can go ahead and click that button and tell your friends and your enemies. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, this went pretty well. I got 520,000 views and 4.2 thousand likes, which one of the first comments is a little disappointing. Plus, from Planet of Memes, but they did not, in fact, respond in meme form. Nevertheless, this alleged Planet of Memes says, federal funding gone, getting 857 likes. Which, yeah, spoiler alert, they're screwed if they don't have that, because just like many inept states like California and New York, they can't balance a budget worth a damn. Kind of like how California just mysteriously can't really say how they spent $25 billion combating homeless, quote unquote. They really don't have anything to show for it. Money just kind of vanished. Yeah, I don't think anyone's more fiscally irresponsible than those states and cities. Yeah, but Planet Memes did get 857 likes. Phoenix Ammunition says, quote, build the gallows and make sure the rope is thick. This guy is fat as... Oh, cover your ears if you have children listening. Try to make it moderately family friendly so you can have it on the radio or not on the radio yet, but have it on speaker, so to say. So Phoenix Ammunition says, quote, build the gallows and make sure the rope is thick. This guy is fat as F. And 340 likes. Meme Wars, A+, they did in fact respond in meme form, says, quote, they want their fruit picked. And there's a picture of a little cartoon caricature in terms of how the format is of the meme. It says, I haven't seen Democrats this mad since we took away their slaves, getting 657 likes. Wall Street Apes says, quote, he also vowed to use all avenues possible to legally challenge deporting illegal migrants. These people steal elections and then dictate the rest of us, getting 900 likes. They also get more people in the House of Representatives because it shouldn't be done this way, but the U.S. Census is based on all people, not legal people. So there's a big incentive mechanism because you get more representation in D.C. by having a lot of illegals. That's why California, a lot of these states incentivize it. You also have Salty Goat saying, quote, his fat ass is going to be in for a big surprise. He 1,000 likes, which, again, he might be arrested by corruption charges by tomorrow, given the history of Chicago. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities. Also have DEL saying, quote, well, the governor of Illinois will be violating the law by harboring fugitives, getting 801 likes, which, yeah, they do that. Let's see. Reza Chowdhury says, quote, every illegal facing deportation nationwide should immediately make plans to go to Illinois. You are safe there, according to Pritzker. The city of New York will even provide you a free airfare, getting 597 likes. This have the most likes, but it's funny because it's Futurama. Meme Wars says, we'll have to get used to it. And it's, I forget what episode it is, one of the OG original episodes. It's Professor Farnsworth, and he has a giant red pill. And main character Fry, he has a t-shirt saying Blue States. And Fry goes, I can't swallow that. And the professor zooms in, he has a Trump hat on and says, well, good news. I can't do his accent. He says, this is a suppository. Getting 210 likes, which might backfire. In this situation, you might like it, but nevertheless, I don't judge. It's 2024. One bad dude says, quote, arrest him and start deportations, getting 465 likes. Let's see. Memore says, wait, what is with Democrats? And there's a picture of someone saying you can't just buy a person. That shows a slave auction, and he's angry. And then it shows a happy person, and it's Pete Buttigieg and his husband in a hospital bed holding a baby because they bought one via surrogacy. Even more ridiculous, again, two biological men holding a baby, and they're sitting in, like, I don't know what you call not the chair. the bed that you sit in if you're a gal in the hospital, and they're both sitting there as if they've actually delivered it and did something. Got 87 likes. And a great example of ineptitude of the U.S. government. Pete Buttigieg was gone for like 6 months, but no one realized it. And he still collected a paycheck. Let's see. I'm not seeing any contrarian statements. Get off my lawn. Good name. Says, quote, I guarantee you there'll be local law enforcement that will gladly help. There's a picture of Illinois. County by county, it shows that Illinois is mostly red. It's only the shitty of Chicago, Peoria, and 1 or 2 other counties that are blue. But yeah, that's the funny thing. I mean, there are a lot of Republicans who live in Illinois. Unfortunately, I mean, they just have to deal with ridiculous, especially against the Second Amendment, anti-gun laws. That's why I got out as soon as I could. But yeah, they still live there for reasons. But yeah, by landmass, yes, mostly red. And that's why there's so many memes after the election. There's no such thing as, blue states. It's only blue shitties. They got 27 likes. The traditional rebellion says, quote, well, then the governor of Illinois can go live with the migrants he loves so much and can be deported with them. It's the meme where you have the hand going underwater to try to grab someone, but doesn't. It gives them a finger. The hand, in this case, reaching underwater to help is called the U.S. government. It's trying to help another hand called illegal migrants. And the other picture has the U.S. government, the hand going underwater, but it's flipping off the person trying to reach out for help. That's labeled taxpayers. Getting 79 likes, which, yeah, they sure get a lot of benefits. They get a lot of our tax dollars. I think it's like $750 per night for like a fancy hotel in New York. And they got food vouchers and a bunch of other stuff. It's ridiculous. Old Russian says, quote, Soros joins him as so many other blue governors. I forget who George Soros' son is, but it looks like his son with JB Pritzker taking a disproportionate amount of camera space. Getting 75 likes. It'll be interesting to see what does Illinois actually do in terms of, well, the federal government, if they do intervene, is Illinois going to stand guards at the border and try to stop them? I mean, it'd be fascinating. I mean, Illinois has a good track record of not preventing any crime, but maybe this is just, they love crime so much that they just want to use the resources to ensure it keeps happening. Given the track record of Illinois, I wouldn't be surprised, but let me know in the comments because, as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Trump's new Border Czar responding to JB Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, who says they won't deport any illegals and they'll actually, maybe put up a fight. Now, this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, which she reposts a quick clip of Tom Homan, who's a new leader, so to say, or the new Border Czar. And, well, shoot, his voice is infinitely better than mine. Go ahead and let him say it, so to say.
Some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send in New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you.
And we're going to do the job without you or in you or with you. I think it goes as far as I thought it should. It got 200,000 views and 3.3 thousand likes. One of the first comments coming from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, we're going to do the job with you or without you, unquote. Spoken like a true leader. Getting 31 likes. Planet of Memes, again, did not respond in meme form. A little disappointed, saying, quote, Tom Holland isn't messing around, getting 33 likes. Going down more and more. You have Based Electrician saying, quote, the upcoming 4 years are going to be wildfire, getting 9 likes, including one for myself. Junita Broderick says, quote, hell yeah, getting 67 likes. Nick Tank Memes, as a picture of Tom looks like with the red laser eyes, says they have to go back every last one, getting 3 likes. Michael Salvo says, quote, the 10th Amendment doesn't bar the federal government from doing its job. States are not going to be able to hide behind whatever argument they want to make regarding illegal immigrants. Getting 3 likes. Let's see, Moraka headline says, quote, JB Pritzker and his family traveled to Florida beach house while he had Illinois locked down at home, getting 7 likes, which, yep, the hypocrisy of leftists. It's definitely a thing. Alice simply says, let us see, is Rambo with thumbs raised or thumbs up. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of this conflict, or does Illinois just simply allow the feds to come in and do their job? I don't know. Or will we see a lot of mass migration to these quote-unquote sanctuary cities, which, again, they've been sanctuary cities for decades. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, because, as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Donald Trump and Biden meeting, and Biden, well, he's never looked so ecstatic. I mean, he's smiling ear to ear, let me know in the comments account, but think Biden is pretty happy that Trump won after the DNC pushed and coerced him out of running, and then they replaced him, rather more appropriately named, or more appropriately said, installed Kamala Harris, who, again, was so woefully inept. Kamala Harris lost every single swing state and only managed to win states where, they didn't need an ID. Also, a fascinating little info there. Now, this comes to us thanks to Liz a TikTok, in which she says, quote, when was the last time Biden looked so happy? And yeah, he literally, and again, he did a couple good things right. Biden did, in fact, suit up. Well, realistically, someone else suited him up, but nevertheless, he is wearing a suit, so he did something right there. And he's got, Trump and Biden sitting down, and Biden, literally, I have not seen him smile like this in months. Like, ear to ear. I mean, yeah, he's never looked this happy. And this one pretty valid. Got 2.5 million views as well as 89,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Planet Memes, which did in fact respond in picture form, though albeit not in fact memes. A little disappointed. The quality of Planet Memes is decreasing. Now, Planet Memes simply says here, and it's a really famous picture of Joe Biden with the Trump hat on, which, yeah, that again in that picture he's smiling pretty darn happy, and he kept the hat too. I think that was. Again, if he was still running, I think it would have been good marketing in terms of humanizing him and showing he has a sense of humor. And a lot of people love that. It was hilarious. Pretty sure he did it partially just to piss off Kamala, the deep state, or the DNC. But yeah, that got 2.1 thousand likes for that picture. Base Electrician says, quote, and this is allegedly Trump saying this, I can't believe he called Zelensky President Putin, which, that was pretty hilarious. Got 2.3 thousand likes. AKA somebody says never, getting 70 likes, make it 71. Control says, quote, divided by politics, united by hating Kamala. And I think they use AI to generate so that Trump and Biden are actually holding hands or doing a handshake. Got 2.4 thousand likes. James says Trump is a very magnanimous man. He is sitting next to a man that tried to take his own life on 2 separate occasions, allegedly, and stole the 2020 election from him. Not to mention, raided his home in Florida, getting 132 likes. Also, one of the first times actually authorized it for deadly force when they were doing that raid. Bowtie Queen says it's Christmas morning for Joe and Jill, and it's Joe Biden sleeping peacefully, AI generated, of course, sleeping peacefully with the Trump hat snuggled against him, getting 950 likes. Ms. DeBone says, quote, this time he doesn't care. Maybe he dances the YMCA too. This is before MAGA, and I think it's during the debate where Biden looks miserable. Then it says after MAGA, he's got the hat on, and he's smiling ear to ear, getting 325 likes. Rudy Clark says, when he addressed the nation on Trump's election victory. And yeah, look at that screenshot. Like, he was not, he didn't seem very upset that Kamala lost. Yes, she kind of stole his job too, and her, or more accurately, perhaps her handlers pushed him out and coerced him not to run, which I really do believe that's what happened. Because again, Biden for months was saying he wants to run, he's excited to run, and after the debate and the ratings crashed, all of a sudden he dropped out, and allegedly is from he announced it via tweet, which as the youth might say is sus or suspicious, because, spoiler alert, he doesn't tweet. Korean Jean-Pierre has been caught multiple times tweeting from his account. So, I don't think if I were a gambling man, I would say he's never actually said the words, I'm dropping out himself, or said he wanted to do that. I think his party pushed him out, as they've done before with other candidates, and installed someone that the people didn't want. And the people voted appropriately. Iridium says probably here, it's a famous clip of Joe Biden turning around, smiling, getting 767 likes. Manhattan Mingle says he doesn't work for Obama anymore. He's a free man, getting 1.1 thousand likes. Interesting profile name. This one is called Diddy Tapes. Says this was the last time Joe Biden looked so happy, and it's when he put the Trump hat over his own hat, getting 165 likes. Which, yeah, in terms of smiles, I think that's probably the last 2 times he's really smiled ear to ear. Bean says, quote, Biden is all smiles ever since Trump won, getting 587 likes. Also, Trad says he's celebrating her failure hard. You have Kamala Harris before and after she was running, apparently. Or I guess at the beginning of when she was running, and she's smiling and happy and looks, I don't know how much makeup she's tossed on hers, but moderately youthful. Then after she looks exhausted with many wrinkles, many more than in the other picture. Yeah, that got 152 likes, though viscerally disgusting. I should put a visual warning, perhaps, because, oh dear God, almost looks like the Crypt Keeper. Also, Trad also says Joe definitely joined the movement in 2024, which that would be hilarious. I wouldn't be surprised if he voted for Trump. This guy's party screwed him over so much. Then you have a little compilation of me voting for Trump 2016. It's just an average looking guy. It says me voting for Trump in 2020. It's Mel Gibson from The Patriot holding a flag. And then it's me voting for Trump in 2024. It's Mel Gibson from Braveheart screaming, getting 445 likes. Going down more and more. Let's see. Alleged Jackson says, I'm glad it was pleasant and polite, but did Joe Biden forget Trump is a, quote, threat to democracy and literally Hitler, unquote? Which, yeah, Joe Biden said that throughout the years, which, yeah, is viscerally disgusting. And to do that, says, quote, I'm starting to think that was extreme hyperbole and that the Democrats weren't sincere. Of course not, getting 106 likes. May suspect that they're just pushing their followers to do stuff. Alex Lake says, quote, Biden hasn't smiled so much since he had a baby's foot in his mouth, which, yeah, that was weird. Yeah, he was biting kids during the Halloween celebration, apparently. There's a picture of that. Got 58 likes. So yeah, it is hilarious. He's smiling ear to ear. I'd love to. I mean, will there ever be like a Joe Biden interview where he just comes out and said, oh yeah, come on, man. I vote for Trump, man. Gotta make the country great again. The deep state pushed me out. I wanted to run, but they installed Kamala. Perhaps that's the worst Joe Biden impression you've heard all year, but the attempt was nevertheless made. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this is like truly the happiest Biden's been in the past couple of months? And yeah, there's a lot of people speculating maybe he'll install Kamala from us. She could be the first woman president. I don't think Joe was ever going to want that to happen because of how much they screwed him over. Same with Jill. But let me know in the comments because, as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have the iconic Kum Go convenience store chain being finally rebranded after the sale. Decades of building a brand and hilarious puns now will be moot. They'll be gone because the new parent company, unfortunately, no longer be based in the great state of Iowa. Which, well, they decided Manier, or was it Maverick is a better name, which, spoiler alert, it's not. Not even if they had an official franchise or official, licensing agreement with Tom Cruise and Top Gun or whatever they call those movies. Maybe they could even put the plane and say, it's the same jet fuel. It's not, but there's at least a shtick or an idea for marketing. This is just terrible. Now, this comes to us thanks to CNN Business, which somehow still in business. Though they are laying off some of their top talent because less and less people are tuning in. We might be one of 18 people who actually clicked on this article. Perhaps it's too generous. Maybe one of 3 people. I only partially jest. Now, this comes to us thanks to Jordan Valinsky, who's a writer over at CNN Business, saying, quote, Kum Go is going away, and its new owner is rebranding all of its locations. Terrible. Now, here you have to squint your eyes a little bit, but you can see what used to be the iconic Kum Go logo, and it is spelled K-U-M and Go, and the bottom of the K would actually connect to the G in Go. And yeah, I still can't believe they're getting rid of that iconic brand. And maybe just because I'm an Iowan and, throughout my whole life, I'd see all the convenience stores, and it's a funny pun, of course. But yeah, I still can't believe they're gone. Now they say, quote, Kum Go, the Midwestern gas chain that gained famous fame for its immature Snickers of its name, is making a change. Maverick, a rival chain that bought out Kum Go in 2023, announced that it's, quote, in process of rebranding Kum Go stores with the intent to unify the entire combined footprint under the Maverick brand, marketing the eventual end to the 49-year-old naughty name, which originally, was not. Now, Maverick spokesperson says, quote, or spokesman says, quote, while we are committed to the vision, we are taking a thoughtful market-by-market approach to ensure the best customer experience before confirming each state's rebrand. The specific timeline for the Kum Go name will be fully retired isn't yet revealed. Now, I love business history, so we'll read about this for New York Minute. Say, quote, Kum Go was founded in Iowa in 1958 by Bill Krause and his father-in-law, T.S. Gentle, as Hampton Oil Co., and eventually expanded across the Midwest, changing its name to Kum Go in 1975. In 1990 interview with the Des Moines Register, another sure way to stick out. Remember, they actually call it Des Moines, not Des Moines, though if you're not from Iowa, a lot of people do make that mistake. And quote, Krause said that the K stood for his name and the G stood for a gentle, choosing Kum Go brand because it, quote, it had the fewest number of letters, so the size would be cheaper. Which is kind of funny how some iconic names have such silly makings or origins. They also noted that the inferred sexual innuendo became part of its reputation. And this actually comes from Krause, who passed away in 2013, says, quote, I can bristle and I can be offended, or I can look at the fact that 100,000 people a day come through the doors of Kum Go. I say, quite despite being a retail chain, the brand has also found himself in a national spotlight. In line of branded merchandise bearing the name exploded in popularity when Johnny Knoxville wore a Kum Go t-shirt in the sequel of the movie Jackass. Kum Go has 400 locations spread out throughout 13 states in the U.S. Midwest and South. Maverick's acquisition brings the combined total locations to 800 and makes it the 12th largest convenience gas station chain in the U.S. And yeah, why is this business blunder? I mean, they're going to make more money in terms of, company bought out a company, they're going to have more locations, a lot more reach. But again, to me, Kum Go is almost the equivalent of Quick Trip in terms of a clean, it had exceptional customer service. I mean, the best customer service. Or Trump would probably, if Trump ever went to a Kum Go, he'd say, they have the best service, bar none. Not only do they come, but they go with a smile because they're so polite. Probably Trump said that, maybe, actually not. But it's one of those things where great customer service is a clean store. I mean, never grime or junk on the ground, which is kind of the antithesis of a Shell gas station, which you don't have. It's not an insignificant percentage that you'll be stabbed at a Shell gas station and have maybe a quarter inch of dust on all the drinks throughout the store. Statistically speaking, the odds are definitely there. But again, it's one of those staples of the childhood of the Midwest. And when you're buying a company, part of it is buying the brand, buying the name. That's worth something. And the fact they didn't do the reverse branding. So the fact that they didn't buy Kum Go and get rid of the Maverick. Because again, you look at the Maverick, a lot of people, when I look at social media, that brand is known for, not to be pejorative, but crummy, dirty stores, poor customer service, overpriced, not competitive items. I mean, to me, this is just a huge backfire. It's almost the opposite. They should be rebranding everything Kum Go and getting the culture of that company to go over Maverick. And so to me, that just seems ridiculous. And yes, it was kind of childish of a name later as the innuendo came along. But it's one of those things where if you find something that sticks, and it's almost a pillar of iconic parody, I mean, why not keep it? It's a profitable company, had great employees, and it's unfortunate. I'm not sure. I suspect that the headquarters and most of the corporate employees will be let go in terms of the consolidation of operations. Will probably be going to the new parent company location. And yeah, to me, rebranding it and taking away the iconic logo. And again, I collect business signs of defunct businesses. If you could find, especially a light up Kum Go sign, I pay finder fees. And I'll drive to you or I'll ship it. Because I'd love to have it for my wall behind me of the wall of defunct businesses, as it is kind of heartbreaking. Another, iconic Iowa business bites the dust. But I mean, let me know. Do you think they should have kept the name around, or do you think it's better to go with a new one? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or comment. It's a great way to give me a little bit of additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.